There are now real and growing concerns that your president, the president of our country, is compromised. How real of a bribery Joe Biden bribery scandal allegation is this?
Well, every day this bribery scandal becomes more credible.
How long will Republicans keep lying? Hunter Biden did not bribe his father to do favors, and even more importantly, Russia was behind the disinformation. You think that would have every incel on the right scurrying, but unbelievably, with a few exceptions, they're comfortable with lying.
They're saying that's sawdust. Take a good look at the sawdust that lined up in perfect little lines.
Proof is the operative word here. Now, I rarely quote Hitler's henchmen, but it was Joseph Goebbels who said, repeat a lie often enough and people will believe it. And boy, was he right.
One thing I can promise you this, I will always tell you the truth.
Before we start down the highway of lies from Trump and his limp-wristed posse, Congressman Ken Buck is stating something that we all used to believe. If you can't offer proof, shut your hole.
Start off, and I want to ask you, the point of that segment and what Caitlin was trying to do there was to get a Republican to admit that this entire thing about Joe Biden is just a ruse. You played into that pretty effectively. I want to ask you why you did that.
Well, Rob, I didn't play into anything. She asked me about a particular allegation that was made that Smirnoff made that Joe Biden received $5 million. That particular allegation is not credible.
Your party, the Republican investigators, say that that's proof of influence peddling by Hunter and James. But that's just your suggestion. You don't actually have any facts to that point.
Hunter Biden with his porno laptop was an easy target. He's a flawed man who has a father who loves him nonetheless. But everyone who's ever worked with Biden has good things to say about Joe.
If you can't admire Joe Biden as a person, then it's probably you got a problem.
But of course, that was before Trump. Lindsay has stepped all over the truth on so many occasions, and for reasons unknown, that he's become the perfect symbol for this party of lies. But of course, he's not alone.
All right, so Q is a patriot. We know that for sure.
But Hunter Biden did not attempt to compromise his father, and all the information supporting that came from Alexander Smirnoff, who said it was fed to him by Russians. Comer and Jordan started an impeachment inquiry based on secondhand information with no supporting documents, and when it all fell apart with Smirnoff's indictment for lying to the FBI, Republicans pretended it was all true. They cannot help themselves anymore. From the first time Trump cried,
You are fake news,
it's been a litany of bullshit from Fox and every doughy-eyed suck-up in the GOP. Let's go back to 2015 when Trump started a rumor that Obama was born in Africa.
Why isn't he giving his birth certificate?
Now, of course, that's BS. Obama was born in Hawaii. He had documentation. But that's only part of the GOP BS. Hannity and others decided it wasn't racist enough to just question whether a black American came from Africa. They started including Obama's middle name, Hussein, to try and make a connection with their idiot base to Saddam Hussein. They even punched Melania out to spread the lie.
If you want to become an American citizen, you need to put the birth certificate.
Right.
I have a birth certificate from Slovenia. And do you want to see President Obama birth certificate or not?
I've seen it.
It's not the birth certificate.
For the record, Trump, proving that he is equally racist to everyone, even suggested that Nikki Haley might not be an American citizen, despite the fact she was born in South Carolina, but her parents are Indian. But that was just the beginning. When the Washington Post fact-checker team first started recording Trump's lies, they chronicled 492 lies in the first 100 days of his presidency. On November 2nd alone, the day before the 2020 vote, Trump made over 500 lies in one day as he campaigned desperately to stay in office. When it comes to lying, Trump possesses Ruthian skills. By the end of his term, Trump had accumulated 30,573 lies during his presidency. That's about 21 lies a day. His tsunami of bullshit was remarkable on two levels. His hubris to just say anything that came in his head, and I mean anything.
Biden and his son are stone cold crooked.
Eventually, other Republicans, encouraged by his success with his deplorable squad of traitorous hillbillies, jumped in, like Comer, Jordan, Cruz, Dairy Queen, Gates, Rand Paul, Marco. It's an endless list of liars. So after the birther lie, Trump moved on to his penis. His inauguration crowd was approximately a third of Obama's crowd. The pictures didn't lie, but he sent Chubby LaRouche out there with this proclamation.
This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period.
That was a sign of things to come.
He's a war hero because he was captured.
I like people that weren't captured. Trump claims he cares more about vets than any other president, but he told General John Kelly that anyone who would go to war and die was a sucker and a loser. Then said this to Howard Stern.
Dating is like being in Vietnam. You're the equivalent of a soldier going over to Vietnam.
Trump said this lie 57 times. We took care of the vets. We have a 91% approval rating. Problem is, this 91% figure was based on an independent survey conducted in 2013 when Obama was in office.
We're going to make them pay for that wall.
Trump claimed he secured the border and Mexico would pay for the wall. Neither one was true. Not only did Obama deport more undocumented immigrants, but unlawful entry into the U.S. spiked in Trump's last 3 years until COVID did what the invisible wall couldn't. And Mexico, they put up 0 pesos to pay for Trump's fantasy wall.
America now has the best economy in the history of our country.
This is Trump's favorite lie, so there should be no surprise he said it close to 500 times. But by any key measure in the modern era, Eisenhower, Johnson, Clinton, George Bush, and Obama presided over stronger economic growth than Trump ever had.
And I gave you the biggest tax cut in the history of our country.
Tax cuts for Americans? Not so much. Obama passed more tax cuts for the average American. Trump did, however, cut taxes for corporations from 35% to 21%, costing the U.S. more than $1 trillion each year.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Tiny Finger's grades were below average, but of course Trump lied. When Trump awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom to this economist author Laffer, you probably heard the Laffer curve, Trump claimed he'd studied the Laffer curve for many years at the Wharton School of Finance, even though the economic concept, the Laffer curve, was not created until 1974, 6 years after he graduated. Oh, and his professor said he was the dumbest goddamn student he ever had.
After 3 years of lies and smears and slander, the Russia hoax is finally dead.
More than 17 U.S. intelligence agencies confirmed that Russia was planning false stories to help Trump in 2016, and it was Russia who hacked the DNC database.
Russia, if you're listening.
And as we said at the top of this video, Russian interference is ongoing.
Many places, like California, the same person votes many times. You probably heard about that. They always like to say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Not a conspiracy theory, folks.
And of course, the lie that the election was rigged and it was stolen by Biden.
The election is rigged.
Has led to dozens of other lies by his army of small-minded, mouth-breathing twits.
The 2020 presidential election was not fair. No honest person would claim that it was fair. On many levels, the system was rigged against one candidate and in favor of another.
The Republican Party, as Junior loves to say, no longer belongs to Republicans. It now belongs to Trump and his twisted cabal of grunt and push deplorables. They lie because the truth is their enemy. And maybe that's because Republicans are the real snowflakes. And for them,
look what you've done! I'm melting! Melting!
Well, the truth is just too much.
Damn right.
Who's with me?
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
Am I wrong? Yes!
Tick-tock!
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.